It's time once again for the Kennett Indian Coaches Show as we talk to Kennett Indian head football coach Joel Wyatt. And, Coach, you're coming off that 40-32 overtime win at New Madrid County Central, and that was some kind of a ball game. Always good to go to New Madrid and pick up a victory against a pretty good team.
Yeah, any win's a good win. And, we really didn't want it to happen like it did when you get up 24-6 and then even 30-12 there in the third. But, we'll take it. We, as coaches, we're sitting there in the locker room afterwards, obviously, kind of disappointed on the way the lead fell apart. But then we're sitting there thinking, well, we just think if we'd have lost it, how we'd have been feeling. So it was great for the kids to overcome some adversity, and they could have got down when the game got tied, and but a credit to them for kind of getting their thoughts together and say, hey, we're okay. It's just like 0-0, and everybody gets a possession here. They obviously didn't know the rules. After we scored, they were getting ready to go on the kickoff team, so there was a lot of new things going on, but I'm really proud for how they hung together. And, man, that's one that you always remember games like that, but those kids for sure will remember that overtime win.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the overtime, then we'll back up and talk about the game because, like you said, the overtime rules, there's so many different overtime rules, but each team gets a possession, and I guess you just keep going after that. Did you win the toss and choose to get the ball, or how did that work?
No, we didn't, and surprisingly, New Madrid took the ball first. I told Gaddis, I said, hey, if we win the toss, we want to play defense first, so we can see what they're doing, and if they went for two and got it or whatever, but if we don't win it, we want to be down on this end. I just felt like we were a little more comfortable at that end, and so yeah, New Madrid won it, and then they wanted they wanted to be on defense first. I got backwards there, so they wanted to be on defense first. And backing up, I told Gaddis, hey, if we win it, we want to be on D, so we can see what we got to do when we get on offense. So,
well, as it turned out, that really worked out well for you, because if you get the ball first and you get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, then it's double pressure on the opponent.
Yeah, it does put the pressure on them, and man, we had one thing, Coach Collier and I said, hey, if we do win this toss, are you okay with playing D first? Because they had been on D, seemed like a little more in that second half than they had been. Are we okay? And he said, yeah, let's play D first. So luckily, from that point of view, even though we do have multiple two-way players, some of those guys could get a rest, and we got on offense, and it didn't go really well. We did pick up a fresh set of downs on third down. They had us in third and long, and then we threw a little throwback screen. Ty hit Nick Fonda, and Harry Rue had a great block out on the screen, so that got us a fresh set of downs. And then, then we had two incompletions there where we had Flakes wide open in the corner of the end zone. Then we had D on the other side of the field on a corner route in the end zone, and we missed him. So, then you look up and it's fourth down, and I believe 4th and 8. And so we had a play there out of trio, and the kids executed to the T on that play. So hats off to the kids. I mean, everybody did their assignment. We got 5 guys in the route, and all 5 did their job, and then the lineman held up, and then, Ty just threw a strike, and, D hauled it in and got in the end zone.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the heart of the game, because you jumped out to a quick 8-0 lead. New Madrid, typical of this ball game, came right back and scored 6. 2-point conversion, no good. But you start adding up touchdowns, and your 2-point conversions in the ball game. That's one reason you got to go to overtime, or you wouldn't have been there. And then that's it really helps when you go up 8 in the overtime period.
Yeah, that was from both sides of the ball. We stopped them, I think, on all of them but one. And so that's a credit to our kids, because usually when the team scores, there's a sign of deflation. We're just, we're deflated. And but hey, we try to preach, hey, just go to the next play, and they did. And they had some big stops there on the 2-point conversions. And then on our end, I think we got 3 of them off the swinging gate. Executed really well. We had an option to nick, and then Ty faked one and ran it in, and then we threw one to Zane Franklin. So yeah, those were really big.
Well, Coach, I know you always want to win the turnover battle, and your team had some turnovers in the ball game. One that it looked like Ty was kind of trying to pull a pass attempt back in, and it went backwards on him. But that guy's done so many good things, and if you play the game, you're going to occasionally have one of those plays. Yeah,
we did end up +1. We got 3, and then we gave them 2, so we were +1. But yeah. Ty, I hadn't even watched that particular play. I just been so busy moving on. I haven't got to replay it, other than I did go back and I wanted to see the overtime. So I haven't seen that fumble. We were trying to throw a swing route out there, and I don't know if it slipped, whatever the case may be, but yeah, things started to snowball there, and New Madrid took an advantage of a couple of mistakes, and then they got us on a double move on a deep pass, and I do want to say Coach Fullhart does a great job over there. He's been there about 10 years now, and man, he does a good job. He does a really good job with his scheme, running the outside zone play. He's really good on the deep ball. He's just kind of going to keep you off balance with formations. And their kids have been playing hard. So, playing him for a lot of years now, and I just have much respect for him and his staff and for what he does. Well, just looking at that ball game and looking at you and your coaches and Coach Fullhart and his coaches, you both made adjustments during the game. And I've always said you're one of the best at making those adjustments. But I saw it on the defensive side of the ball and also offensively for both ball clubs. So it's kind of like a chess match during the ball game. Yeah, there's always that feeling out process. And Coach Collier, he made some at half, and we came out and used some of it. And that was beneficial later on in the game, I know. And, so, yeah, it's like that every Friday. You've got to make your adjustments and seeing what your opponent's doing, and they do the same. And then, we've got to counter. It's that cat and mouse game. Well, I know Christopher Martin jumped on a loose football. That was a big point in the ball game, and then you get points after that one. But then John Baker Brown also jumping a route, getting an interception, and then D. Anthony in overtime. Tell you what, when you look at those, you just think, well, that's how defensive backs need to play it. They're watching the quarterback, and if he tips that play a little bit too much, then they're going to step in front of it, and that's exactly what they did. Yeah, a couple great individual plays there. JB just sat on it, and man, great break there, and he was in the right place doing his job. And then I just wish he could have scored on it. That'd have been great for him to have a pick six, but we did get down there and shove it in, and then D scores the overtime touchdown, and then we come out on D, and then we stuff them on first down, which is a big play, because I think it put them in like 2nd 8, 2nd 9, and so now they've got to throw the ball, not necessarily, but percentages they got to throw it. and they did, and we watched that as a team Monday, and D made a great break, just a great break on the ball, and nothing like a walk-off win. Those are as rare as it comes, and that was great.
Well, I also was impressed. A lot of guys would have tried to run it all the way back, but D knows that he takes a knee, the ball game's over, and that's what he did.
Yeah, he's a sharp guy, very savvy. Both sides of the ball. He's a smart football player. Got good football IQ, and we're just glad we got him on our side.
Well, Coach, let's take a break. A big rivalry game coming up on Friday night. You go to Dexter. A lot on the line. Both the SEMO Conference South title is on the line, and a big district matchup with the current number 1 team and 4th-ranked team in the state as you go up to Dexter. We'll talk about the Dexter matchup when the Kennett Indian Coaches Show continues right after this. Back with the Kennett Indian Coaches Show as we visit with Coach Joel Wyatt before the Indians travel on the road up to Dexter to take on the Bearcats. And Dexter undefeated this season, currently ranked 4th in the state. They sit atop of the Class 3 District 1 standings. And just a big matchup for your ball club. And coming off a couple of wins, you got some momentum. But on senior night, Dexter will be ready for the Indians as well.
Yeah, it's big rivalry game, as everybody knows. I'm no stranger to playing these guys. 7 years there at Malden and then 4 years at Kennett before. So, and no stranger to playing Jamerson, when he was at East Prairie all those years. And then, the defensive coordinator, Coach Lumica, he was calling the plays on the defensive side of the ball for most of those years. He does a great job. So, yeah, big rivalry game. St. John was really, really good. So, I don't know, if I had to pick one who I would say was better, but Dexter's really, really good. The thing that just sticks out on film is, they look the part, and they got some good-looking kids. You can tell they've been in the weight room. And, defensively, they will hit you. They will hit you. Their secondary is really good, aggressive. The Turnbow kid, number 3, I think he's one of the best football players in the area. Both sides of the ball, return man. He's as good as there is. And then number 44, I don't want to botch his name, but he's a thumper, running the football, and then he's just he's a stud at linebacker, two-way player who can start for anybody. I don't care what class, school, he can start for anybody. So, and they're not the only two. Like I said, they got some hitters on both sides of the ball. Coach Jamerson's doing a really good job. Coach Lumica does a really good job on defense. So, nothing but respect for what they've done. And, when Jamerson took over and the way he's got things going, just building off last year.
Well, we see it from Dexter. They can run the ball. They can pound the ball. A good size group up front, but then they can also throw it. And much like your ball club that can do the same, it puts a challenge on the defense.
Yeah, it does. They're a run first team. They run the ball a lot, but at the same time, there's that threat of passing the ball. Quarterback was a junior, first-year starter, and you can tell he's gotten better each week. So, and he's got some speed out there to throw it to. So, they're not just a one-dimensional team. Obviously, they're a run-first team, but when they have to, they can throw the football.
Well, Coach, good luck when you go on the road up Dexter. And I know without saying that we want a good Kennett Indian crowd there. You had one at New Madrid. It was really impressive looking across the way at the folks that came on to cheer on the Indians. And we hope we see the same at Dexter.
Yeah, we did have a good crowd at New Madrid, man. I was really proud of our fans for traveling. This is, I think, senior night at Dexter. And somebody told me today there were 10 class reunions at Dexter this Friday.
People may want to get there early.
So it's going to be packed. Goes without saying, it's a big game because of who we're playing. But when it's senior night, and then you got all these reunions, just like we had here at homecoming. So I expect it to be a massive crowd, and man, we hope our guys show up in black and gold and get behind these guys, because there's very, very few times in life, or in a season especially, but you get to play a number 4 ranked team where you're the underdog, and really got your back against the wall, and this is a big game for us.
Big game, should be a lot of fun. Let's get a big crowd over there. Coach, good luck. We'll talk to you again next week, hopefully after a Kennett victory over the Dexter Bearcats.
All right, thanks, Barry.
All right, this has been the Kennett Indian Coaches Show and Coach Joel Wyatt.